Read.
Junk.
Read.
Junk.
Read.
Junk.
Read.
Junk.
ReadJunk Podcast with your host, my guy.
Hey everybody, it's the bonus episode of the ReadJunk Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Krumko. So last weekend I drove over to my old college at Keystone College outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Well, it's my first college when I got my associate's degree in fine arts. My old art professors were being honored since they were the founders of the art department. So I felt like I needed to go over there and say hi. It's been about 19 years since I probably saw them. My buddy Frank, who went to school and where we met, we drove over to the art gallery opening, and I tried to talk to my professors, but two of them didn't really remember me. They're like, I'm trying to remember. Your name sounds familiar. Which, I mean, I guess it's understandable since it's about 20 years, and they've taught a lot of people. I thought I would have been a little bit more memorable. But just as they were starting to remember, they got kind of whisked away, and other people were talking to them, so it was kind of frustrating about that. It was a lot of people there. Actress and comedian Kate Micucci was there, but I don't think I saw her. I don't know if she was there when I was there. But she was. I saw her the next day. I'm like, oh, she was there, because I was looking for her because I knew she went to school after we did. I think it was like she graduated in 2001, and I graduated from there with associates in 1999. I did run into my old photographer teacher who did remember me, which I was surprised about. But he's now the dean of the arts and sciences. It was great to be back there, although it was a little weird. But afterwards, Frank and I sat down and had a little fun little chat. We talked about the Northeast PA music scene. We talked about all the paranormal stuff that happened to us at Keystone, because it's an old school. It was built on an Indian burial ground, and it's from like 1880s, and it was just like a lot of stuff happened to Frank, and I thought it was a bit fitting since it was around Halloween time that we talk about that again. We also talked about Star Wars and Marvel movies. Plus, you can hear me doing my impression of Big Bird, but I guess you'll have to wait to listen to that to find out how I sound. Next week's podcast episode will be all new music for the month of October, so stay tuned for that. So here's my chat with my buddy Frank. Here we are. I'm talking with my friend Frank Froese, who I've known for about, it's got to be 20 years now, right?
At least, yeah. So wait. So I started at Keystone in 96. You guys came the next semester. So yeah, it's 20, 21 years, something like that.
Yeah. So it's 98, and we were just at Keystone.
Just went back to the old alma mater.
It's been about 19 years.
Can you call it that if you didn't graduate?
I can.
You can't. I went there for a while.
You were an alumni.
Yeah. I'm not really an alumni either.
You went there, so technically...
Basically, it was the most expensive the most expensive hotel I've ever stayed at.
Yeah, I think the last year I was there, you were there, but I don't think you went to any classes.
No, that was the year of... I was severely anemic. So anytime I sat down for longer than 15 minutes, I fell asleep. And I was... Yeah, that was a weird semester. That was like my lost semester. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just sort of like...
But what art classes did you have? Because, I mean, I had... Me and John were like had all the classes together, but then you didn't really go to them, though.
No, I don't think I went to any classes that year.
You were just... It was like
I had to do like portfolio prep, and I had to do like a gym, I think. I was missing like a gym class. I wanted to do walking, and the only thing they had available was aerobics. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll take aerobics. There'll be like a bunch of chicks. Like, that'll be pretty great, And then
I did have a good idea though for a YouTube channel, a YouTube channel. That I think I can make a lot of money. It's called Skarobics, and it's like doing ska dancing and making aerobics.
Dude, I'll tell you what. When I'm at the gym, I very often put on like the Specials Pandora station, and I just like skank along on the elliptical, and I'm like try to keep the pace with the song.
It works. Ska works with everything.
Some bouncing soul songs are really tough to keep a pace with running. Once they get a little faster, I'm like, ooh, my heart rate's like 185. Here we go.
But yeah, so Keystone,
yeah.
That's where we became friends. It was like a couple of months where we didn't really. I don't think maybe like the first month we didn't really know each other, and then we were wearing something, and I
remember I was in the cafeteria, and I looked. I like knew of you guys from seeing you around, you and your brother, and so I looked across, and one of you, I don't remember who it was, but one of you had a Toasters shirt on, and I was like, oh, all right, like these guys are into cool stuff.
They might like something.
So I knew that the Toasters were playing at the now famously defunct CeCes, and I was like, I should go up to those like ska boys and tell them that like the Toasters are playing nearby, and like
ska boys.
That was it. You guys were the ska. We used to call you the Ska Brothers until we knew what your names were.
Or Ska Twins, right? Wasn't it Ska Twins?
Ska Twins, yeah. Because one of you would always have on like a Moon Ska shirt or like something,
Yeah.
So they were the Ska boys.
CeCes. Yeah, I've talked about that a few times already, but it's one of those clubs. I was actually looking at photos of it the other day because it was like, I think it was like All Out War. It was pictures from that. Yeah. But I was just remembering how awesome it was to sit on the speaker stacks and take pictures from that.
And like nobody cared. That was
and no one cared. And you wouldn't be able to do that shit now.
No, God no. You couldn't get anywhere near that stuff now.
But it was like so great to just take pictures, and people would always rush to get to that spot. Yeah, that was like the one spot where
that was the best spot in the house there. And I remember it was a VOD show that the speaker stacks fell over like onto the crowd. Like everybody was just rushing the stage. And I remember I was pinned. I fell down. I fell on a bunch of kids fell on me, and then the speakers fell on all of us. And it was just like a situation, And then they used to have, I remember a few shows that CeCes would roll out barricades. Once in a great while, they had some.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, there was like, I want to say like a biohazard show. Some of the bigger stuff that would roll through once in a while, they would have like a barricade set up, but very, very rarely. And that was, a long, long time ago.
So what was the biggest band that you saw there?
Yeah, probably at the, for the time, probably Biohazard was probably one of the biggest acts at the time.
I remember there used to be a lot of fights. Maybe when did Dropkick Murphys play there and there was like a fight with Skinheads or something?
Yeah, well, the Skinhead thing, the Skinhead thing was a problem for a while. Not as heavily in the Scranton area as I think. The Bethlehem, Allentown area for sure was real heavy with like Nazi skins. Reading was real heavy with Nazi skins. And like kids would get messed up all the time at shows. We had it here like not as frequently as they dealt with it. But yeah, we had some of that going on. Dropkick played there, I think, in 97. I want to say it was like Dropkick Murphys. Oh, God. It might have even been like H2O. There was a couple maybe three heavy hitters on that too. It might have been U.S. Bombs might have been with them too at the time. Because I remember Dwayne Peters outside like giving beer to this like kid who was probably like 10, It was just like...
I felt really bad when I saw him at the Warped Tour and he fell off the stage because he was so shit-faced drunk.
Yeah. But then you know what? I watched that documentary, The Other F Word, and he's talking about like his son dying.
That was really sad. That
was so heavy,
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, man, I get it,
I think there was like reports that he was missing just like last year or something. Yeah. I don't know, or something like he's still dealing with those demons. I think. Yeah.
You can't be that deeply alcoholic and not have,
I was reminiscing about CeCes with Steve from Sergeant Scagnetti. We were talking about Vince.
Sergeant Scagnetti.
The Toasters.
Ignoramus.
And there was like the goth soundboard guy.
Yeah.
And then there was his cranky dad.
And the mom worked in the little snack stand there where you get your slices of pizza and Arizona iced tea.
But it was so funny like how we were able to get onto these shows for free when we'd had this crappy radio station at Keystone.
Yeah, we had an AM radio, like it was almost like closed circuit TV.
You can only hear it in the cafeteria, and that was it.
You could pick it up in a dorm room if you could dial the station in. It would spread out a little bit because it was AM radio. The signal goes a little farther. It's just shittier. Can I curse on this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Fuck. All right.
I already fucking did an old shit.
I forget because I got kicked off the air at Keystone because somebody cursed on my show.
Oh. I
used
forgot
to have
you
a
did.
radio
Yeah, I
show.
forgot. Yeah, because I remember we did it. That's what
Yeah.
I was talking to Lauren the other day. And she's like, "Oh, you're doing a podcast." She's like, "Oh, it's like bringing back your Keystone days." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, it's Ramapo too. We did Ramapo. We did
you
radio."
guys did radio there. Yeah.
Like that
But
was
I had,
my grandparents would just listen for that one.
Yeah. Well, I had a show at Keystone on the radio, and I called it was Unity Radio, and I would play I would drive the cafeteria ladies nuts because I'd be playing like all this like local like PA hardcore bands and like the Misfits and just cool stuff like that. And I had my buddy Chad came over to the studio the one day, and I'm like, "Hey man," I'm like, "got my buddy Chad in the studio." I'm like, "Say hi, Chad," and he goes, "Fuck, donkey dick," and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like, next thing you know, I hear the phone ring, and it's the station manager. He's like, "Shut it down now." I'm like, "All right," like, thanks, Chad. You got me.
Do we even have that one?
Shout out to Chad Tempest if you're out there, bro.
Yeah, I feel like every time we did it at the radio station, we always have like people come like, "Can you play some hip hop?" We're like, it's not that kind of show.
But yeah, man, CeCes was just like, we're like, "Yeah, we got this radio show," and they're like, "All right, you can come to every show ever for free. Just let us know you're coming."
We took advantage of it, yeah. Because like I wasn't really into hardcore until I got the PA, and then I started like, "Oh, this stuff's pretty good." So
yeah, like you guys started kind of coming to shows with me and Mikey and
Lauren every once in a while.
Lauren, she would come out. I remember the one time we took James, we dressed James up like a hardcore kid because he was like this
Connecticut preppy.
Yeah, Connecticut preppy, like comes from like a wealthy family, super nice guy, love him to death, can't say a bad word about him, but like a real like conservative like New Englander,
Yes.
And so we put a Chain of Strength t-shirt on him and a pair of Jenkos, and he wore like your bog standard like Wrangler tight jeans at the time.
Did he have a chain wallet?
No, I don't think we gave him a chain wallet, but it was
mine.
funny to see him in a pair of Jenkos because in the hardcore 90s, everybody's pants had to be like 50 inches wide at the feet.
It was like everyone wearing. That's what I was looking at my photos the other day with a coworker who's like, I found out that she's friends of people in Hatebreed and all that war. I'm like, I didn't know about this. I know you've like 10 year plus and you're friends with all these people. But we were looking at all the photos and we're just making fun of all the clothing, like basketball jerseys. Like this person doesn't watch basketball. Come on.
Yeah.
And like New York Yankee hats. Everyone was a New York Yankee fan back then. And
it was just like because like you had bands like Agnostic Front and stuff from New York, so everybody was like, "Yeah, New York,"
Yeah, sick of it all.
What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, like I think that's why jeans are so expensive now is because we created a denim shortage in the 90s because our freaking jeans were the size of like chimneys.
I think I wore size 38 back, and I wasn't a size 38, but that's what size I wore back then. I'm like, these things are falling off my ass. I think I could wear something a little smaller.
Yeah, they were huge, and you'd have to stick your arm like halfway to Australia to reach the bottom of your pocket to get your change out.
It wasn't too baggy, but it was still like, now I can barely fit my pants that I have currently. Dad bod represent.
I prefer to call it a father figure, but that's why they make stretch denim now, man. And like I got these.
Do they have leggings for fathers?
Well, these are like about the closest thing you're gonna get. I got these like black like stretch chinos. They're like super comfortable. I can dip it low if I need to.
Like I can't get to the gym. I can't.
Stretch jeans are where it's at.
Yeah, Kristen wears like leather. Like I'm like, why are you wearing leather pants? And she's like, no, these are like leggings, but they look like. I'm like, oh. Okay.
I bought a pair of ladies' jeggings.
Why?
Okay, so here's the backstory to that. So my buddy had a party for the Conor McGregor
fight thing.
The Conor McGregor fight where he boxed what's his face? Mayweather. So
I don't know how I know
his thing was, all right, so for either if you're coming to the party, you can either help pay for the pay-per-view or you have to dress up like Conor McGregor. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll dress up like Conor McGregor. So I remember watching the one press conference with Conor, and he came out in like tight floral pants that probably cost like $8,000 and like no shirt and a fur coat. And I was like, I'm going to go as no shirt Conor for the fight. So I was like, all right, man, I'm going to be shirtless the whole night. He's like, are you really? I'm like, oh yeah. So I went to Walmart. I went into the Sturdy Gal section of Walmart, and I found a pair of ladies 3X floral stretch jean, like jegging things. 3X in a ladies. So like whatever the hell I am in men's.
Okay.
I had to get the biggest ladies size, you know?
Yeah.
And I was also much heavier at the time. I was like probably 50 pounds heavier than I am now. So I squeezed into these like little floral jean things, and I took my shirt off and I wrote my name in marker across my belly, like how McGregor has his, which is really hard to do when it's like upside down and you're in the mirror. Like you're like, wow, I had to write.
You should have had someone else do that for you.
I had to make a template. I wrote it on a piece of paper and turned it upside down and then looked at it and drew on myself. But I was shirtless for the whole party. Yeah, it was.
I wouldn't have done that.
Well, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I didn't want to help pay for the pay-per-view. So
how much was the pay-per-view? I don't know.
Probably less than the jeans that I bought. I think
Did they split or anything?
No, they were like I don't know, $12. I got rid of them when I was done with them. You know, it's not like I need a pair of ladies jeggings.
Did someone look at you and go, is this for someone else? Or
they were no, you know, it's Walmart. They've seen weirder than anything I could possibly do. You know.
Yeah. Oh, at least you weren't wearing it. Then you would have ended up on that website, the People of Walmart.
Oh, I would have definitely been on People of Walmart. Yeah, that's my entire goal in life, is to not end up on People of Walmart. I think that should be everybody's goal. Like, as long as you don't end up there, like, you got your shit together. You're all right. But if you're walking around in like a blue pimp suit and you're carrying like a friggin' parrot on your shoulder, like, just it's coming. Your time is numbered.
In Jersey City, we had a guy that looked like a pimp.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a pimp. But he would get angry when you call him a pimp. But he would dress up the same, like a big hat, cane, and a suit, like furry suit. And he would, he's like a legend in Jersey City because he's this old guy that's probably was a pimp. Maybe he just changed his career, but he didn't change his clothes.
Yeah, like if you went to Party City and looked at like pimp costumes, it would be like his daily attire.
But it's like, yeah, like he might have owned like a suit store or something. I don't know.
Okay,
but so it's like one time, the first time I saw him, he was wearing all like fluorescent pink.
Yeah.
Then another time was green and an orange suit, and it's all matching hat and everything. And it's it's like this urban legend kind of thing of Jersey City.
I saw a store like that in Philly where it was like, it would remind you of like what Steve Harvey would wear to church. You know, like they just had those kind of suits, man. Like sharp, but like not for a white dude. Like you just look stupid trying to pull something like that off.
Like a zoot suit or something.
Yeah, like it's just like
wingtips.
Like culturally, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it has nothing to do with race or racism, but just like we would look so stupid wearing something like that. We just can't pull it off. Caucasians can't do it, man.
Maybe Cherry Poppin' Daddy's got.
Yeah, but even that's like looking back on it, man. Like, do you ever like look back on that and you're like, oh my god, like that's so corny.
Yeah, the big hats. And it's just like
like I get it. You know, it was part of that whole swing revival zoot suit thing, which was cool. I mean, you got a lot of cool music out of it. I still love Royal Crown Review.
Yeah, I saw them once. Yeah, I saw them on Warped Tour.
But like,
I saw Cherry Poppin' Daddies on Warped Tour.
Yeah,
those are like the only times I saw those two bands were on Warped Tour.
I don't think I've ever actually seen. I saw that band. Well, they pitched themselves as a satanic swing band. They were called Demon Speed.
Right, I remember them.
And they played at CeCes actually with my buddy's band Burial Ground. And they came out and just sang songs about serial killers, but it was like metal mixed with like swing music. He's like, John Wayne Gacy killed 33 children. You know, like that was like the total thing.
Oh, didn't he sing like Danzig a little bit? But he was like swing?
Yeah, kind of. It was like a croony Danzig, like bebop kind of thing going on. It was real jazzy and like.
Have you ever heard of Radkey?
No.
There are three brothers from St. Louis area, and he sounds like Danzig, but what the Misfits should be sounding like.
Yeah.
But they're really, really good. They were really. I saw them open up for Rise Against, but check them out, Radkey.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
But they have like they're really into comic books and stuff too.
Yeah.
But,
I'm always looking for new music.
Like,
so.
like kind of singing like that, and it just works. They kind of their earlier stuff sounds more Misfits.
Yeah,
kind of branched out. But yeah, check them out.
Me and my older daughter Ava, we used to sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider like Danzig when she was real little. We'd be in the car and I'd be like, the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Long kind of rain. Like, you know, we would just do that whole thing, and she would just like die laughing the whole time.
I guess that's better than me singing Bob Dylan to Connor. But
how do you do that?
I was doing the Game of Thrones song. I was like, the Rains of Castamere. Like,
Yeah.
And who are you? The proud Lord said, and I was about so low. I mean, I gotta find anything to get him to fall asleep, but
Yeah.
I was making voices in the car with Frank before, and I was doing Big Bird.
Oh my God, dude, do the Big Bird. It's
because like I was reading with Connor, I was reading the Big Bird book, and it was like about ladybugs. He's like, "Ladybug, I won't hurt you. Come here, little ladybug." And then I was trying to do Bert. I'm like,
God,
what does Bert sound? He kind of sounds like
like Bert's kind of nasally. Bert's kind of like like.
And Grover sounds like Yoda.
I can't do a Bert.
Or like Grover sounds like Yoda. Like, they won't hurt you.
Yeah. They're like the same species.
It's like, it's Frank Oz it.
Ernie was always like more like, hey Bert,
Hey Bert, hey Bert, hey Bert.
Here, fishy.
And then I was doing a tiny man in the box.
That was super impressive. I've never heard that before.
And Kristen's like, you gotta stop doing that. It feels like you're gonna like faint.
Because I thought it was like, when you said tiny man in a box. I'm like, is that like a character? Like I don't know what that's from.
Well, it's from like Rob Brydon. If you ever seen him and Steve Coogan do The Trip, and he's like known for doing this voice.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like,
yeah.
help me, I'm a guy in a box. Like,
you sound like small and far away.
Yeah, so something like that. So,
but you also look like you might have a stroke while doing the voice.
Or it's like constipated.
Like it's like a lot of blood pressure in your head.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta stop. You're gonna faint when you're doing it.
Oh man.
So going back to Keystone.
Yeah.
Since it's around Halloween time.
Yeah.
We walked around campus, and the campus it was built in 18 something, so it's old,
creepy, yeah.
and it was built on an Indian burial ground.
That's what they always told us when they dug the foundation for the main art building, which was the sculpture studio, the ceramic studio, and the drawing studio, that they had found skeletons buried in there. And that's obviously it's on a big mound of a hill where that is, you know. And it makes sense. It's right along the river there. Like it would have been a great settlement back then for Native Americans, you know. And Bill always told us, he told me
he would see
that he would see like a little Indian girl, you know, like in the Pottery Studio. He told me so much as the one time that he left. Now I don't know how true this is. It's coming from Bill. I mean, whatever. Take it for what you will.
70s, but
yeah, you know, 70s probably made a lot of bongs in there at some point. But he said he put a lump of clay on the wheel one time and left to go to the snack bar for a coffee or something, and that he had come back and that there was a pot made. And it was like a Native American style.
It's like, all right, thanks.
Pot. And he fired it. He said he fired it and he kept it, you know?
I wonder if that was at the show today.
I don't know. You know, maybe he's got that in his house or something. But we'd always be in there like super late at night. You know, you'd get the keys for the studio and you'd work on whatever you were working on. Like being an art student was like real free form. It was just like, come in here at 2 a.m. and create.
I liked that, but at the same time, I'm like, it was frightening just not knowing that there might have been ghosts or something there too.
Anything in there. That place was creepy.
So just walking across campus, I had spray mount. Like spraying in someone's eyes, they're gonna go blind, or like my ruler, where like go to someone's neck. Yeah. That's what hurts.
Like, I can't fight, but I have a T-square.
I'm gonna get you with my compass. And
I remember me and Lauren would work in studios like real late at night a bunch of times. Shout out to Lauren LaPierre. What's up? And
yeah, she better be listening.
You better be listening. And we would like quietly hum the like Peanuts song to ourselves to make us feel better. We'd be like doing pottery. We'd be like do 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 do.
I still do that now, like in my own apartment, because it's like when you go to a new apartment, it's like, is this kind of haunted? Because like sometimes I've heard things. I'm like, did I turn that light on?
Oh, this place is for sure that we're sitting in. My kitchen is. I hear stuff out here all the time.
Yeah, but I swear I hear like noises and stuff in my new apartment, but then we're right close to the train station, so who the hell knows?
Yeah, that's
but
true.
It's like sometimes I thought I heard someone saying something to me when I was in the shower, so I went and got out. I'm like, and this is when Kristen wasn't home, so it was just me and Connor. So I'm like, oh great, I got to be the pussy of the family. Like, I gotta.
All right, son, go check that out. I know you're 2.
He's 3 now, but
3 now.
Yeah. So Okay, what were we talking about? Oh,
Keystone and the ghosts. Yeah.
Right. So you didn't see anything in the ceramic studio, right?
I never saw anything in ceramics. No, I mean we would have like uneasy feelings and stuff in there, but you could chalk that up to just nervousness, I guess.
I definitely felt dizzy or like warm sometimes when I would go on the upper level of the life studio, the drawing
that used to be a gym when it was an all boys school.
Yeah.
And that up the top, that track that went around was a running track. They would do laps on that. And then eventually they sectioned off. It used to all be open. Eventually they sectioned it off. They built some walls so you had like distinctions between the sculpture studio and the drawing studio. But yeah, that was a gym at one point, like in the 1800s.
Wow. And then there was Moffat?
Moffat was next to the main art building it's gone now, but it was called Moore Hall.
Moore, right? That's right.
And that was like an abandoned, rundown. It used to be an old dorm.
It was there because it was there the time that you were there, right?
Yeah, it was still there when we were there.
Okay,
but it was like chained up, locked up. Like kids used to get in there and like do graffiti and things. And we were gonna break in there one night actually, and we ended up like going down there and security was like poking around, so we like pissed off and didn't go in. But we would go up to the doors and like peek in, and it was cool looking in there, like just old broken down. Anything old and broken down. Like you and me used to explore.
Yeah.
Some sketchy places back in the day.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, like the Goshen Salesian and
Salesian School. Yeah.
That was, I don't know. I think it's like a park now. Or something, but
is that all gone? They got rid of it?
I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I worked there, but I haven't driven by there.
So I remember poking around in there, and that place was real.
Yeah,
weird.
that was kind of frightening. But I mean, it didn't seem like anything haunted. It just seemed like
it just seemed like an old sketchy building.
But then we went. But then we went to that place. We didn't go that house in Middletown where it was like
it's like set in the woods.
Set in the woods, and then. So we all parked our cars there, and then all of a sudden we saw everyone running back.
Yeah, because I was up in the lead. It was like me, I want to say me, Anthony, that Sarah girl, and was her name Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
The one that would do like the EVPs and stuff?
That was Lauren.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren.
The blonde girl, right?
Yeah, Lauren.
Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay, not Sarah. Lauren. Okay.
We did have a friend, Sarah, but I don't know if she was there.
Yeah, no. Sarah was the one that was like the preacher's daughter, right?
Yes.
See, I'm putting all this back together, man. It's been a long time. But, so it was me, Anthony, Lauren, and I want to say Matt.
My brother?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to
right.
say Matt was with us.
Was James
more behind?
Was James with us?
James was with us too, but I think it was you, James, and like somebody else behind us.
Yeah, some other people. Yeah.
So we were up.
It was after a birthday party.
Yeah, because we were all at your apartment there.
Yeah.
When you and Brian had that, or you and Matt had the place in.
You're speaking
was that
Brian.
Middletown, right?
Yes, in Middletown. Yeah.
So we ended up walking up toward the house, and I guess I don't remember what somebody said. The house, like somebody murdered somebody there, or
one of those things.
Who knows? Urban legend.
It's Middletown. But, everyone gets murdered.
So as we're walking up to the house, we all got like a really weird vibe all of a sudden, and this like bird just fell out of a tree dead in front of us, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take that as a sign, man. We're going to go ahead and turn around now. Like that just didn't seem right,
I don't think we didn't go to the Nathaniel White House, right? The one that's up close to the highway, and that's where we wanted to, but I don't think we did. That place is now turning into Legoland.
Oh wow!
So yeah.
That's crazy.
So if I go up there and rides stop working, now I know why.
Yeah, now we know why. It's built on death.
It's like right close to my house, my old house. And so it's right built by my house.
Yeah.
My old house anyway.
Okay.
But I kind of wish I was there when I was younger so I can just walk to Legoland.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I don't know, like, what is at Legoland. Like, I know I think there's like smaller roller coaster. I'm sure I'm going to find out since I have a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Legoland other than I assume a lot of Legos.
Yes.
I wonder if they have like a challenge, like you win a prize if you manage to like walk across like the like burning pile. You know how the people walk across burning coals, Except it's just a strip of carpet with Legos, and you have to walk across it barefoot, as any parent knows.
I made
That's
that.
like
Oh God, it's like that now, but it's with dinosaurs. So I'm like Stegosaurus,
the real pokey ones.
Triceratops. Yes, all of those. I'm just stepping on. I'm like,
I think my dad got the brunt of that with army men when I was a kid. The little green ones that would like wedge themselves into the like we had like thicker.
We had Legos.
I guess it was like shag carpet. I mean, I was born in the 70s, so like they would inadvertently, the bazooka guy that held the thing straight up in the air would be the one that my father would step on and like lose his mind.
But I'm like, I wonder if they're building it out of Legos. Like the first storm is going to knock it over.
Yeah, unless they use the Craggle, as they said in the Lego movie.
The Craggle.
The Craggle.
Yes, where were we?
I don't know. We get off topic a little bit.
Well, that's what
we're
it is.
Talking about Keystone.
This is just free form kind of bullshit.
We're talking about the ghosts of Keystone and Moore Hall.
Right. So let's talk about Ward Hall because we didn't talk about that.
Ward Hall.
That was that one incident where it was like it was almost like the second month of school because it was October. So it was right. It was actually wasn't it?
It was the night before Halloween.
Yeah. And when we were sleeping, and you're like, and you guys came to the cafeteria, and you were like, something happened at Ward Hall.
Yeah,
and we're like, we slept early.
I think it was Lauren and James that were there working on some stuff in photo. Because the photo darkroom and studio were down in the basement of Ward Hall.
And then nothing else up there. It was all
printmaking was down there too. And then there was nothing. There was a couple of teachers' offices on the first floor. Like I think Ward's office was on the first floor. Yeah. They had a couple of like little studio setups for photo where you could have like tungsten lighting and that kind of thing. A couple of little rooms that they used for storage, and then the rest of it was just derelict, The top two floors were always kept chained and locked. Like you couldn't go up there at all. It used to be an old dorm back in the day.
I wonder why, though.
But, so I think it was James and Lauren that were there and working on some stuff. I was back in my dorm in Moffett with Mike, and we were just chilling, and my phone rings, and it's Lauren. And she's absolutely hysterical on the phone, telling me like her and James just ran out of fucking Ward Hall. They left all the lights on in the basement. They left all their photo stuff there. They had like they had paper like sitting out in the dark room, like so they had to go back and get all this stuff. But they were terrified to go back in the building. And I'm like, what happened? And they're like, we heard somebody screaming upstairs, And I'm like, it's the night before Halloween. Like, obviously somebody's messing around, so I'm like, you know what? Like me and Michael come check it out. I remember we grabbed like a couple other kids from our dorm.
But didn't you guys like bring a bunch of weapons or something?
I brought a staple gun.
Or I did
whatever college weaponry you could come up with. Like I brought
like I brought a
staple gun. I think Mike had like a pair of brass knuckles that you weren't supposed to have. I don't remember who we grabbed. I think we grabbed the little the little Japanese exchange student Mia, and we grabbed like
wasn't it like one of the majors? There was two guys called Major, so I think it was
Major. It was the one dude that lived on our floor. I think he was there. A couple of kids we grabbed, and we're like, let's go make sure they're cool, get their stuff back. So we told security like, hey, I think somebody's messing around in like Ward Hall. Like they might have gotten upstairs where they're not supposed to be because Lauren and James said they were going up the back staircase, which is now an elevator shaft, actually. So they were going up the back staircase, and they heard someone scream from up above.
I'll take the stairs.
Shouldn't have been anybody there,
Yeah, that's weird.
So we went back in with two security guards. We went down the basement. They got all their stuff, turned off all the lights. Everything was cool down there. Security was checking everything out. And then we got to the first floor. Security went around with us. We checked everything out. We went up to the second floor. Security unlocked the chain on the door, opened it up. We went through there with flashlights and everything, checking everything out. Nobody was there. So we're like, all right, whatever. So we get up to the third floor. Excuse me. We get up to the third floor. The security guy puts the key into the lock. And the second he put the key into the lock, I just felt like something shoved me up against the wall and held me there, like not in the air or anything, but just something heavy pushed me and pressed me against the wall, like was pressing on my chest. And I just remember thinking like, oh my God, what is happening? You know what I mean? And Lauren saw me get flung into the wall. So she started freaking out. She grabbed me by the hand. And as soon as she grabbed me by the hand, whatever was pressing me against the wall let me go. And then me and Lauren ran the hell out of there. Everybody else stayed. So we're outside looking at like the flashlights going around, So they're sweeping like the third floor. They get down to the end room on the third floor all the way to the left when you're looking at the front of the building.
Yeah.
And next thing we know, like everybody else is running out of there too. And we're like, what the hell's going on, And they said when we got down there, it was like so cold, like so much colder than anywhere else in the building. And they said there was a lot of like dead bugs and stuff.
I noticed that too when I went there during the day because I'm not going to go there at night. That's for sure.
They said there was a lot of dead bugs in this one room, and the room was like ice cold, and they all just like got the hell out of there,
But didn't something happen with Lauren? I thought she like was freaked. Like I thought she like felt something pressed against her chest too. Or something.
It was me. I got shoved up against the wall by like.
Oh, I thought it was. I always thought it was like she had something traumatic happen.
No, it was like something just shoved me against the wall, and when she grabbed my hand, it let go. And like, I'm a big dude, and like something shoved me against the wall and held me there, and I couldn't see it. That freaked me out.
Well, it's like I'm still kind of like I'm skeptical of like I'm really interested in ghost stuff, but I'm also kind of skeptical maybe because it hasn't happened.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like you guys have told the same story that's been exactly the same over the 20 years.
Yeah, it's never changed.
It's never changed.
I'm just telling you what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And like up until that time, I didn't really believe in stuff either. But when that happened, I had no choice because I know I didn't throw myself against the wall and press my chest. Like something did it, and there was nothing in front of me.
I thought one time, was it you? I don't know if it was you or John. We were in the dark room when it was like those. It was the 3x5 or whatever the big mid-size,
like the medium format cameras.
Yeah, where we had to go into complete darkness.
Right.
And I'm like, John, are you touching me? He's like, no. And I'm like, or it was you or John. And I'm like, are you?
I remember being in there with you, and we heard like a noise, and you were like, was that you? And I'm like, no.
No. I'm like, all right, get on. And then another time, like I thought
we heard like someone hear like a baby crying or something weird like that.
No, I don't. I mean, I hope I didn't hear that. I don't know if I heard that. I thought something changed the settings on when I was developing film.
Oh yeah, your clock, like your timer settings.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I'm like, I didn't touch anything. Why is it all like a lot darker?
Right, yeah, and we were just down there by ourselves, just sitting in this pitch black room because you couldn't have.
I'm getting goosebumps talking about this.
You couldn't even have safe lights on when you were doing that medium format film. Everything had to be done in complete blackness.
And then that's when you started bringing up Stretchy Freddy.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because you were so freaked out at that scene in Nightmare on Elm Street where he comes out of the wall all stretchy, and I'm like, Brian, Stretchy Freddy's coming out from behind you, and you're like, shut up, dude, shut up.
Shut up. Yeah, that Jason scarred us for life with showing us that in second grade, and I can't watch horror movies now. Not too many anymore.
Dude, I love, like, we all go every year to like this one big haunted house out here called Reaper's Revenge. It's like a big hayride / like you got to walk through several different things.
You took us to one of them.
That's what I'm gonna get to right now. Is I so fondly remember you guys coming down, and we went to one at the Viewmont Mall that was done with truck trailers all connected to each other.
And that was just like a kind of a lame one.
It was a real lame one, but my favorite thing about this whole thing, and I'm sorry, Matt, I'm going to bring this up.
I was going to bring it up if you weren't.
Was like we were walking through this one part, it's pitch black, and all of a sudden you just hear the Halloween theme music from the movie. And out of the darkness steps Michael Myers. And to my right, I feel a hand scrambling around and finally grasping my hand. And I just look at Matt and I go, are you holding my hand? And I can hear every ounce of dignity leave his voice. And he just goes, yeah.
And then we did another one that was out more in the country somewhere up here, but it was like it was like a hayride one.
That was probably Dracula's Forest that we went to. Did they take you in a big barn and a spider came down?
They came and they ran chainsaws against our back, put out the chains, and it freaked me out.
That was the Dracula's Forest haunted hayride, yeah. So this Reaper's Revenge that we go to is like that times 10, like it's insane. They have this area you walk through like in pitch blackness. And like the walls get real close together, so it's real claustrophobic, and people are touching you, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
I still have to sleep with night lights on.
Yeah.
Well, I was so used to in Jersey City we had the street lights.
Yeah.
But now I'm in Ridgewood and it's pitch black. Yeah. So it's like I need to have one. I can't see. I don't want to bump into things as I'm trying to go pee in the middle of the night.
Well,
But
you know what though? If it's too dark and too quiet, like I can't.
I have a noise machine on.
I grew up across the street from a bar, so like nighttime for me was never a quiet thing, you know. And then when I moved like to not the country, but like as country as you get with staying in the city around here, and it was like so quiet at night, it was unnerving. I couldn't sleep because it was just I needed to hear something.
Yeah, so it's like I need white noise. If not, I will hear everything in the apartment.
Like I'll sleep with a fan on just so I can hear like something buzzing.
Say I used to do that until Conor was born, and then the kid's gonna go stick his fingers in the box fan. So got like a $50 white noise machine, and I love it.
Well, what did you have? One of those like 1970s box fans that like had like razor blades on the.
No, but you still
like chop carrots,
like,
you know.
A little infant sticking a finger in a fan.
I suppose. Well, that's hey, life lessons, you know.
Now we call you Stumpy.
Life teaches hard lessons, man. Sometimes you got to lose a finger.
But going back to Keystone, there's also we talked about Moore Hall, but we didn't talk about what you saw.
Holy shit, Moore Hall, man! Like if I was never convinced that ghosts existed, I would have been after Moore Hall for sure. Because so where that was, I showed you today where it was.
Yeah,
and then in between Moore Hall and I think that's Capwell or no?
No, it's Harris.
Harris. Okay, so in between Moore and Harris, there was a little narrow pathway that you could walk through. So I used to take this shortcut. It looks so different now up there, but I used to take this shortcut through the woods, and I would pop out there, and I would scoot through that little shortcut there, and then I'd be right at the art studio where I was heading the one night. So I'm walking through there, and I'm in the pathway between the two buildings, and there's like a couple of little shrubby things you got to watch out for, but I'm like carrying my portfolio stuff under my arm. I think it was that time of the year. What did they call it? Like portfolio review, where you'd have to like submit things, and the teachers would like grade you basically on your art. So it was like that time of the year, you know. I was carrying all that stuff to the drawing studio because that's where you had to take it all. And so I'm walking through there, and there's this dude just like standing in between the two buildings, and I thought like, and he had like a long coat on, you know, and I thought like, oh, just some dude like sneaking a cigarette or something, you know, because you weren't supposed to like smoke on campus or whatever. So maybe he's standing between the buildings, like having a puff, you know? So I'm walking by, and he looks down at my stuff that I'm carrying, you know? And he says, oh, I'm a lover of art. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. You know? And, so I walk past him, and I just hear him go, "Good day." And like I turn around because like who the hell says good day? You know what I mean?
Good day
to
you, sir. Good day.
I turn around and he's gone. He's not there.
But there was no way for him.
But there's no way. We're in a narrow path. You would have to either run past me or run backwards, and I would see you running or hear you smashing through the little shrubby things that were there. Like in the amount of time that I turned my head, he could not have gotten far.
Yeah.
You know, so he says, "Good day." And I turn around and I'm like, he's gone. I was like, what? What is that? You know?
Stuff seems to find a way to you.
I'm some kind of open doorway, and I don't know why. I don't know how I ever opened it.
You're the gate.
I know my first semester at Keystone, we messed with a Ouija board.
Yeah.
That I pulled out of a derelict place called the Stagecoach Inn. So this place was like a place around here, and it belonged to somehow this guy. His name was Walter Pestanicus, and he used to own a funeral home. Mm-hmm. And I think this was also one of his properties, was this place called the Stagecoach Inn. And he got himself thrown in jail because he like starved an old man to death to get his like insurance money or something like that.
Inheritance or something.
Yeah. So there was some kind of crime involved like that, but this place was his, and I think this is where he actually like kept the old man like tied up in like to a chair and starved him or whatever. So kids used to go there and party like all the time, but there was still a million things left in this place. And like we found like old clothes and like silverware and like just anything. So we used to go in there when we were kids and like just like loot the place and like party and stuff. And I remember finding a Ouija board one time, and I took it, and like I'm thinking that was the worst thing I ever did in my entire life, was take a Ouija board out of a place where a guy was murdered, you know. And we were messing with it at Keystone. It was me and Lauren, my friend Nikki at the time, and I believe this other girl, Karen, and maybe her roommate. We were all just kind of chilling. And so me and Lauren had hands on the, what do you call it, the planchette, like the little piece that slides
what
around.
It's called, yeah.
And I was like, you're pulling that. And she's like, you're pulling that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, you are. And she's like, Frank, I swear to God, I'm not pulling that. But it really felt like someone else was.
It's always, people always say they do it.
Dragging it, you know?
Oh, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, but like, I believe Lauren that she wasn't doing it. And I know I wasn't doing it. And so it started, we were like, we contacted something. And we were like, well, who are you? And it types out like Satin. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, Satan? And then it swings like no, like twice.
Yeah.
And then it spells out as in smooth. And I'm like, satin? Like as in smooth? And it was like, yes. So this thing, whatever this thing is telling us that it was a surfer who like died.
A surfer?
Like a surfer. Like he used to love to surf. And he was like surfer dude. So I'm picturing like satin as in smooth, bro. You know, like surfer guy. And so it's telling us all this crazy stuff. And like I burped and it spelled out like nice burp. And then like,
you sure the other people besides you and Lauren weren't doing, or you
me and Lauren were the only ones touching it, you know? And she swears she wasn't moving it. And I swear to God, I wasn't moving it. And then it spelled out, my friend Nikki was in the room and it spelled out Nicole is hot. And she was like, I'm out. Like, that's it. She left, you know? I was like, but yeah, it was a weird one. So I think maybe messing with that, like the demons or whatever, were like, hey, that guy knows we're here. Go find him, you know? Because I've had so many paranormal experiences after that. So I don't know if that's what did it.
Maybe.
People say don't mess with Ouija boards, you know, but it's like, but it's made by Milton Bradley, but
yeah,
it's not.
No, it's like how
that's not the point.
It's
the point of what the thing itself is and what the thing represents. It's not so much what it's made of; it's what it is.
That's like me buying the official breakdancing board.
Yeah, you know.
Which I had. I was trying to look that up on the internet like last month. It was like yellow and blue.
Yeah,
and I found like a commercial, but it wasn't for the exact one. But I'm like, I can't believe I had this. It's just a piece of cardboard.
But it was official breakdancing cardboard.
Yes, so it's official, and we spray painted to make us feel
like
tough.
Boogaloo Shrimp probably like helped to like mail it back in the day. Him and Turbo and what are they?
Ozone.
Turbo and Ozone.
Ozone and Turbo.
Sometimes I dance with the broom like that in the barbershop just for shits and giggles.
Well, I guess
I'm not as good, but I try.
It's like the broom kid in The Last Jedi. It's like, what do you?
And we're back. I need to work
on
another radio voice.
Going in another direction here. So I just mentioned Star Wars. What do you think of? There was a lot of we found out that Russian trolls bots were the ones. You don't have internet, so you probably don't know this.
No.
But there was a report saying that all the backlash, or about 50% of the backlash from The Last Jedi, was caused by Russian bots. That they accelerated it. So it's like everyone got pissed off.
I don't see why people hate it so much.
I don't understand either.
I don't get it. I think it was poetic. I think it was beautiful.
I mean, I would have liked something different, but it's not my movie to make.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the whole thing was just absolute poetry. I mean, did we really need all that stuff in the middle with Finn and Rose in the casino? That was kind of filler, maybe.
It was filler. It was fun, but
it was cool to watch. It was visually interesting. You know, it was neat to see a side of the galaxy that wasn't war torn. You know, whatever for a change. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Luke be more of a old badass, but I mean, he's the same age as was Obi-Wan Kenobi back then.
Right.
So he's old.
But I loved seeing what Luke did and realizing how incredibly far he came as a Jedi to be able to pull that stuff off. You're talking about stuff that Obi-Wan never did. And Yoda never did,
on another planet.
Projecting a younger version of himself on a completely different
planet. But I was when he kind of faded away, I'm like, oh, I guess he just completely just drawned out all of his power, I guess, to... Yeah,
that was his last final, he used so much force energy that it killed him, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, he'll be back as it goes.
Oh, he's definitely coming back as it goes, for sure.
It was on his terms, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't see where all the hate's coming from. And I don't understand why Solo did so poorly.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean, I wasn't crazy at first with the guy that played Han, but he kind of won me over at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can buy this guy as Harrison Ford. But like,
as long as it's got Chewbacca in it, I'm like, I'm fine with it.
Dude, I saw it. I went opening night to see it. I took my kids the next day to see it, so I saw it twice in theaters. I've probably watched it 8 times at home.
One of my complaints for it was too dark. Not like in like subject matter, but it was hard to see in the beginning.
A lot of stuff.
It was like this
really,
battle
really
scenes
dark.
and like it was all like a dark kind of planet, and it's like mud or something.
Well, they had to set up Corellia, I guess, to make it, which was cool to see Corellia finally on film. You know, like you remember hearing about some of these places, and you know, I always kind of had it in my head from like the comic books and other things about how Han and Chewie met. They always said like Chewie was a slave or something, and Han freed him, and that's.
It was somewhat
about,
similar, but he wanted to eat him. I guess I'm like, oh, Chewie eats people.
But dude, like, how funny was that when he's like just about to drown him, and he's like, and he's like, I speak a little. Like, I'm like, oh man, like that's so funny. Yeah, like Ron Howard, I think did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, I think he saved it, and it was like. I didn't expect Darth Maul to show up at the end. That kind of threw me.
No, I was super excited because I followed like the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff. So like I knew that was, you know, that he was like a crime syndicate leader and all that kind of stuff. But like as soon as I heard his voice, I knew it. I was like, oh, here we go. Like this is awesome because it's so cool how everything is tying in now.
Yeah.
Like you'll have things that were mentioned, you know, in Rogue One that pertain to The Last Jedi.
I love Rogue One.
Dude, Rogue One was like Gareth Edwards, man. Like, boom.
I mean, the one scene that made the movie was the Vader scene.
Oh my God.
But it was like, but I was like, how come he's like fought like a robot, you know, afterwards? I'm like, I don't care. Just like, let us enjoy that.
Yeah,
because
like, let us enjoy the most badass 5 minutes of Darth Vader ever.
Yeah, just him lifting up people. And
you know, like maybe that took a lot out of him, you know? Maybe he like injured himself a little.
And I love K2. Like
K2 was awesome.
It was, and like some people just don't care for the new ones. I'm like, maybe because it's like you're older now, but
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just happy that we're getting so much new Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately, it's like Disney's just taking over everything. Like they just fired this author that did the Star Wars Aftermath book. They just fired him because he did angry tweets.
Yeah,
at people at people that were attacking him. So he gets fired for sticking up for himself, and then all the negativity. It's like that's the problem. It's like. With Marvel and Star Wars, so it's like we get all these movies, but now we have this very like
we all have to be so sensitive about everybody else's feelings.
Yeah, family-friendly crap that are firing James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is still pisses me off.
It's stupid. Like people are just. I don't know, man.
So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like you get great content, but at the same time, they're going to fire a whole lot of people because there's a lot of skeletons in people's closets.
It's just a weird world right now. That's like, I guess the world goes through weird phases, you know, like we had the Great Depression and we had like
it's the Great Outrage.
World War II, and like everybody's got their weird thing that happened, you know, like the 60s happened and, you know, the hippies and all that. And now I think it's just like
Pitchfork Mafia.
This is kind of like what's just happening now. We have like overly sensitive kids that have no idea of how reality works, and you know, just
everyone's got a peanut allergy.
Griping about everything, you know. Just dude, like smoke a joint and relax, chill,
or don't,
or don't. Just say no.
Kids are here.
Kids are here.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
You know, like just everybody, just be cool. It's not hard.
Are you caught up with all the Marvel movies?
No.
What was the last one you saw?
All right, so I never saw the second Captain America.
Oh my God, you got so
like
much.
What is that? The Winter Soldier.
That was one of the best movies.
So I never saw that, and then I remember like when I had internet and cared about that sort of stuff. I had Netflix.
It's very important.
And I put on like Civil War, like Avengers, like Civil War or whatever. Is that Avengers or Captain America?
It's Captain America's Civil War.
Okay, so
which is another. All the Captain America movies are excellent.
All right, so I tried to watch that, and I had no idea. I'm like, who's that guy? What is going on? Like, they're talking about stuff that happened in the second Avengers movie, which I never saw.
That's why you need to start from scratch, I guess.
I'm so far back with those. You know what? The most recent one I saw, though, because I figured it really doesn't tie into like storylines, was I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I really liked that.
Yeah. Have you seen the Guardians movies?
No.
Dude,
I know.
You are missing out.
The girls are playing their Disney Infinity game right now. We have Groot and we have Rocket Raccoon, and I have no clue who they are, but we have them.
You love Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
You are going to freaking love Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right. I want to check it out
Watch
for sure.
it tomorrow.
All right.
Watch it tomorrow. Trust me.
And I try to stay spoiler free, but I'm like 8 years behind, so like I just whatever, you know.
Well, with Guardians, you can watch it without seeing the other stuff.
Okay, so it's
they do show up in the new Avengers, but
right.
You have like 19 movies to catch up on.
Well,
so.
yeah.
But if you want to watch it, if there's any Marvel movie to watch, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
By James Gunn, the director, who is now who got fired for that stuff.
I'm trying to think of what I was watching when I had Netflix. I was real into Daredevil. I thought Daredevil was super cool.
That new season came
I got as far as like when the Punisher came around.
Punisher was a good season. I liked it.
And
they just canceled
Iron
Fist. Iron Fist was terrible, but
Iron Fist was a stupid comic book.
It was a stupid show.
I think they're just grasping at anything to make like oh, why don't you make Silver Sable? Because she was dumb. That's why, like.
Well, Jessica Jones was good. I don't know if you ever did. You see Jessica Jones?
No, I didn't see
that. Was good.
I did watch like the first season of Daredevil and probably like maybe 3 episodes or so of the second season of Daredevil.
Luke Cage was good. That was 2 seasons.
I didn't watch that either.
The only one that was like the weakest link of the Netflix shows was Iron Fist, and I tried watching the second season and I just bailed halfway through it. I'm like, this is so boring.
I'm easily distracted.
It's a stupid character.
I'm like very easily distracted, so I start watching things and I never finish them. Like I watched a couple episodes of that show Black Mirror.
Yeah, people always tell me to watch it.
Which is like kind of like a British Twilight Zone, like for the modern day. It was cool, I did finally watch Breaking Bad.
That's one of the best shows
which
ever.
Was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved that show so much. So I watched that. I did finally watch The Sopranos like 20 years later. We're super disappointed in that one.
Yeah, we're rewatching it now, Chris and I, because it's, every few years I'll want to watch The Sopranos. So yeah, we're on season 4. It gets a little more ridiculous as it goes on.
Like I remember watching the ending and be like, "You're shitting me, right?" Like that's it.
Well, everyone thought that power went out when that happened when we watched it live.
Yeah.
We're like, what the fuck?
And someone like explained, like, no, like Tony died, like that's it.
No, but he didn't.
And I'm like, that's so dumb. Like they're make an ending.
They're doing a prequel. He's doing a prequel for it, like what is like back that takes place in the 60s, I guess.
Okay.
So
like I just want to see an ending like Goodfellas, like oh Frankie Carbone's in the meat truck like frozen, like
classic rock music playing. Well, Journey, but yeah.
Or that was like what was that like Eric Clapton or something? That song.
What was it?
Cream
Casino?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, it might have been Cream.
I don't know. But what a cool ending to a movie, not just like, oh, it's blackness.
Well, you got all these things to catch up on watching.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm so far behind.
I
was watching Game of Thrones. I was super into Game of Thrones for a while.
That's my favorite show.
And I got to the whole Hodor thing, and like my heart snapped in half, and I had to stop watching.
Oh, from the latest season?
From like season where they were in the tree and the walkers were like doing their thing. I don't want to spoil it, even though everyone else has seen it, not me.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And they like flashed back to show like Hodor as like younger.
Okay, so all right, so mostly you're caught up then.
Yeah, what was that like season 6?
Yeah.
I got as far as that, I think.
Yeah, because season 7.
And then whoever I was stealing the HBO account from like stopped letting me steal their HBO account. I'm like, I'm not paying money for that.
I can let you borrow mine if you want to watch it.
Ooh, I just have to get Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so get some Wi-Fi.
Well, that's the thing. I owe Xfinity like $300 before they'll turn my Wi-Fi back on. So one of these days.
If you don't have cable, a lot of people don't have cable, but at least have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Yeah,
I have like one of those rabbit ear antennas where I get like 6 like weird stations and 3 of them are Jesus ones.
You're practically living like in a cabin, I guess.
I don't, dude. I just like.
You don't care, I guess.
I don't know. I don't care. Like I'm so unaware of what's going on in the world around me, and I've never been happier in my life.
But don't you just want to sit on the couch and watch some? I guess you've watched stuff.
I watch DVDs. I rent movies. I'm more into records. I just love to like sit and listen to records. You know,
got this vintage thing called DVDs.
DVDs.
You got to go to Blu-ray. Well, even Blu-ray feels like it's outdated now. I have everything on
I'm
streaming.
so far behind. I have like a 27-inch TV in my living room because that was like my bedroom TV when I got divorced. I got that.
Nothing but Star Wars stuff I'm seeing. I'm looking at Vader's just been staring at me for the last hour.
Yeah, I probably have like 50 Darth Vaders in there.
And where do you find as a collector? Like, where do you find just flea markets or eBay? Like, where do you find all this stuff?
Just flea markets, flea markets or like random. Like I got one of those Vaders out there. I was like in Five Below the one day, and I'm like, oh cool, there was this little Vader thing, So I grabbed that. Yeah, mostly flea markets. I
get the Funko stuff.
I'm weird about like, especially records. Like I won't order. For the most part, I won't order records online.
You got to find it.
I like finding it. It's like the hunt. It's the thrill of the hunt, So like I love flea markets for that
I got
purpose.
this Wham record, but I found it.
Like I joke with people, like I work all week long so I can buy other people's weird shit on the weekends. Like that's just what I do,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I like weird,
I can't get into
weird
the vinyl.
Catholic art. Like I love old like 60s and 70s like Jesus velvet paintings and stuff like that, and I'm just into weird stuff,
Yeah, I notice.
My apartment's full of just weird stuff.
You got.
I like animal skulls.
I think you like Star Wars.
Barber things, old barber tools, Star Wars.
All right, I think we're winding down.
Winding down a little bit.
Had a good talk. It was fun.
This is Delilah at night. If you have anyone special that you want to send down a request to.
If you're feeling, are you feeling lonely? Call.
Pick up the phone.
Call me now.
Call me now, Mistress Cleo. I'll tell you your future.
I don't know. I just felt like it was fun just talking and reminiscing about Keystone. I don't know if anyone else is going to listen to this, but
no, hey, whatever.
But hey,
it's fun.
It's actually it's funny with the Keystone stuff because people do search on my site still. We still have articles that we wrote.
Yeah, I remember writing for back, Scott Punk and Other Junk back in the day.
Now it's ReadJunk.
I was a very sparse contributor.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I would post some.
You would be like Peter
rant.
Griffin, like it's something that grinds my gears.
You know what grinds my gears? Like.
But yeah, it was. I mean, I'm sure somebody will like to listen to the ghost stories, and then us just bullshit just about
random banter
Star Wars. Yeah,
about Star Wars
in the PA scene. At some point, I want to do like a PA specific episode of just all those type of bands.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, we got Strength for a Reason, which
dude, they're still going, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see them play anywhere. I mean, are they playing just in this area?
They just did like a really big, I don't remember if it was like Tsunami Fest or This Is Hardcore Fest in Philly.
Oh, in Philly, there's always
there's one in Reading, Tsunami Fest. They play those. I think they just they did like Europe, like another stint in Europe not too long ago.
What other PA bands? Dysphoria?
I think they might have gotten back together.
Wow.
I don't remember if it happened, how long ago or whatever, but I think they played a show. It might have been one of those fests as well, because like a lot of times with those, you'll get a band that like hasn't played in a long time, and they'll like get back together to play the fest, But Wisdom in Chains, they're still going, man. That was Jotham used to be the drummer in Strength for a Reason when I was playing with when I was playing with Scrap, and we would like go on like little mini tours with those guys and stuff.
I know. I didn't even get into that. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago, man.
Now, what's some PA punk bands?
Oh God, like I can't think of any that are
the Menzingers are.
The Menzingers are like the hometown sons that probably made it the biggest,
Yeah, I remember seeing them playing in New York, and it was like some type of like ska festival, and they were playing this little type of festival. Now they're playing, just selling out. The last record was awesome.
Bunch of dudes from Scranton, that. Well,
now they're in Philly.
They they made it big, man.
One of them lived in Jersey City. I don't know if he still does.
I don't know. Good for them, though. I love to see people succeed, man. That's awesome. You're able to just play your music as a job. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Where do I sign up? Yeah.
And their records are great. You know what? I was really late to the party with them. Because when they were local and playing around, like I just kind of was not.
It's like typical kind of.
I just wasn't into it, And then a couple years later, I think it was like when their third record came out. I
don't want to be an
perked
asshole
up and I was like,
anymore, or whatever song that is.
Oh, that's on Rented World. I think that's their fourth one, maybe. But
the latest one was excellent.
Yeah, I gave them a listen one day, and I was like, these guys are actually really, really good, So I went out and just like. Bought I have all of their albums and like a couple of 7-inches and stuff, But they're super, super good, man. They come back every year and they play like a holiday show.
They're doing, they just announced it this week.
Yeah. So that's cool. They kind of like and the whole town goes apeshit for
So
them.
where is it at? Is it at
It's usually
Tanks
at,
or at the place that used to? Or,
no. It's usually over at the Scranton Cultural Center, I think.
Okay, so is that a little
It's like
bit
the
bigger?
Masonic Temple. Yeah, it's where you would go back in the day to see like Kenny Rogers when he would come to town or whoever. Like it's like the biggest like.
I remember seeing a
venue we have
hardcore show
outside of like the arena. You know.
I remember seeing a hardcore show around here. There was like it was almost like a community center thing, and Jance was there, and then Rick to Life was doing his punk rock flea market. So
yeah, I mean they did a lot of shows back in the day around here. Fire hall shows, any place that would let you rent the building out for $100 to put on a show. You know, I remember playing a show in this kid's garage in Honesdale. Like his parents put the cars out for the night, and like 5 bands ended up playing in this kid's garage. I remember slipping in an oil puddle in the middle of the garage, like in the middle of a circle pit, and I like slipped on oil and fell and hurt my knee.
Yes.
Yeah. Anywhere we could play, man, we figured it out, you know. But CeCes was like, you can't talk about punk and hardcore and ska and anything without talking about CeCes, man. That was like the CBGBs of Northeast PA, you know, essentially. A lot of us grew up there, got into weird situations there.
I remember that graffiti wall at CeCes. Yeah, everyone was like always tagging it and
made out with a lot of girls there, you know. That was like the thing.
I just saw bands, unfortunately.
Oh, you missed out. The parking lot was where the cool shit happened, you know.
I was inside watching the bands, unfortunately, and taking pictures. I'm taking pictures.
Brian photography over here, dude. I still love that you have like all those old pictures, man. Like
I still
the
have them
FUX, you know, and the guy set his guitar on fire that time.
Yes,
and that was like the seminal picture of
that
like
was one of my first shows.
That was like the kicker of like Brian becoming a concert photographer, man. I remember that exact moment.
American flag guitar, and he just lights it on fire with lighter fluid, and
like
then
doing his like Jimi Hendrix thing
and playing
over top
it.
of it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I guess this. And I actually found some. I have a few photos on my website, scottpunkphotos.com, and then, but then I found some more. Like I was throwing out some CDs, so like data CDs.
Yeah.
And then so I found some more photos of that. So I got to upload that of him just playing the guitar that's on fire.
Yeah, man, that was a cool night. I'll never forget that.
There were some that I have, you know, that I don't have on the website that I don't know where they are. Like I remember doing a lot of the concert photography for Ward's class.
Yeah, well,
that
was all on film, you know? Like, we didn't even have, like, digital cameras weren't even a thing.
Like
I mean, they might have been, but they were probably really shitty and really expensive.
I got a picture of your cousin in Strength for a Reason.
Yeah.
And other Strength for a Reason stuff. And I have, and a guy from Burial Ground. No, not from, Bulldoze.
Kev Wan from Bulldoze. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Chris and I were talking about, that was like one of the first shows that he came back from prison or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he like went to jail for like assaulting a guy with a mic stand or something like that. I think that was how legend goes.
Oh, sounds like dancing.
You know, it's funny. And like, I think it was last year. There's a bar down in Scranton that's been putting on some really cool stuff recently. Like the Queers played there. They had Bad Luck 13.
I was going to bring that up because I'm like, you went to that one with Mike Jance, right?
Which one?
The Bad Luck 13 in Philly, where he's like, I almost got killed at a show because it's like.
No, I wasn't at that one.
Because he's like, they're like, lock the gates, and he was like karateng his out because
they would just like throw weaponry in the pit, and like people would just like murder each other. It was insane, you know.
Thankfully, I didn't go.
Because those dudes were all into like that hardcore like wrestling and like ECW and all that.
The
like,
backyard
extreme,
wrestling.
Yeah, like those dudes were all into that kind of crazy stuff. So like they'd be like smashing each other with light bulbs and thumbtacks and all that kind of crap. And like they just made it a spectacle. They're like, we're gonna play really nutty, crazy, violent music, and we're just gonna like throw a box of weapons out in the crowd, and like we might fire some fireworks at you too. Like here we go, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's one thing getting punched in the face, then you got to dodge a firecracker.
I saw a guy one time dancing with box cutters. I'm like, someone's gonna die. Like this is insane.
Wow. I don't think
that was like one of the only times I've ever been like genuinely afraid at a show. You know.
How did they get in with box cutters? This was before
the band had them in like the fucking weapons box. You know, like they had screwdrivers and
like
box cutters.
It's
and
like
shit.
the dentist's office, a little toolbox.
Yeah, it's like the Good Boy like prize box, except of like awful ways to kill people at a show. You know,
here's your bow and arrow. Okay, here's your trident.
Oh my God, there'd be like baseball bats and like, oh dude, it was nuts. You know, it was crazy.
All right. Well, I'm sure we can talk hours and hours just on shows alone, but I have a long drive to do.
Brian's got to get all the way back to New Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
Jersey.
No, I'm a New Yorker.
Brian's
living in
from
New
New
Jersey.
York.
New York, but living in New Jersey.
When his dogs was younger, they used to drink out the toilet.
At least I don't live on a crick.
A crick. You made fun of me for saying crick.
A crick. You're a hick on the roof.
Crick,
on the roof.
On the roof.
And you say father and wadder.
No, nobody says that around here.
Maybe that's like a northern New York kind of thing, like Syracuse, like
the
wadder.
The Scranton thing is like like Hannah or no, you know? Did you see that guy, Hannah?
Yump too. Did you?
Jeet yet? No, Jew. You know?
All right. With that, later.
Signing off. Good night.
Good night.